Hello there, and welcome. Well, you may have noticed a slight blip in the episode productions, and there are various reasons for that, some of which I will tell and some of which I won't. I've never had more trouble getting an episode on than this one, but I'm going to get it done. McCollums like to go on journeys. Now, when you talk about going somewhere, there are certain kinds of people that really, really love it. Tourists love going somewhere because as a tourist, you're excited to see new places and meet new people and learn about the world. And then there's another kind of person that does this, and that's the traveler. The traveler isn't as enamored with the goal as with the journey. So the McCollums, and I mean the McCollums, not the Greens, not the Merrills, the McCollums came from travelers. If you go back in the history of the McCollum family, there aren't many of them that can be found anywhere near a city. Travelers seek to move through open space, and travelers are excited about the moving more than the goal. So, my father's grandfather was a horse trader who lived in Texas and New Mexico, who traveled through Texas and New Mexico. He had a home. He had a wife who gave him these children. But he was rarely at home because in his heart he was a traveler. He sold quarter horses and famously, supposedly, was known for his ability to trade the colts of Steel Dust, which was an important quarter horse in American history. He was the one who had that traveler quality. He wasn't built like most of us. And so that being able to go was what was a pleasure to him. And Daddy had that. Now, I don't know whether Daddy would share that with folks, but it was obvious that he liked the journey. When I was a little kid, he would get up extra early, and he was an early riser anyway. But to go on a journey, Daddy loved to get up extra early because he couldn't wait to be on the road. And in fact, when he was nearing the end of his career, he talked to Mother a lot about how he wanted to be a trucker when he retired, so that he and Mother could go cross-country in their sleeper cab and see the whole of the country. But really what he wanted to do was move, move, move. There's something in the traveler that loves the wide open and the moving, even more than the getting there. Now, Mother was a true tourist. She was curious and lively and thoughtful, and she liked getting to new places and seeing new things. And that's witnessed in her life. I mean, she went to Australia with a friend. She went to South America to visit a friend. She went to Spain to hang out with her college buddies. She was a tourist. And I don't think there's anything wrong with being a tourist. I think tourists get a bad name, but it's not tourism that's bad. It's boorishness that's bad. Bad manners are bad, but not tourism. It can bring pleasures untold if you like to go on a journey and see things. But the nature of it is different. It's getting there that's fun for the tourist. It's going that's fun for the traveler. And I think Mother came to have a taste for traveling a little bit because it was comfortable and it gave her exclusive access to Daddy. Whenever Daddy would say, let's go take a drive, They would sit up front and we kids could sit in the back, but Daddy did not discuss things with the back seat. He did not share with the back seat, and he was not interested in the back seat sharing with him. He talked with Mother, and she had him all to herself essentially when he was driving and she was riding in the passenger seat. And the truth is, she really, really, really dug him. She really thought he was cool beans. So I blush to admit that I am not a traveler. And I wish I could say I was. I wish I had that I'm more of a tourist. I try to be a good traveling companion, but I struggle with even that. I take after Grandma Jones, the heights. I'm a homebody, and she was a homebody. She loved to be home, and I do too. And I did some traveling in my life. I've done some traveling because I came from a traveling family. And John was more like Daddy than Mother. I truly believe that. John traveled all the time. He traveled to the Albuquerque every weekend while he was teaching in Santa Rosa. He didn't have to do that. Santa Rosa, perfectly pleasant town, perfectly fun to be there on the weekends. He left town because he liked the journey. And he liked driving. He would travel around, as I've told you, in the summertime and go hiking. But for him, it was the moving that was the pleasure. Any place was entertaining to John because he has had a kind of a historian's eye for things. He saw all things as sort of interesting. Everything, the great web of life and of experience, touched on everything. So he liked walking all sorts of places. He wasn't stuck on a particular place. It was the going that interested him. And me, I spent 11 hours going to the cemetery on Thursday, this past Thursday, and getting back. And it was, I had a little of the traveler thought, because between the Floridas, which are the mountains near Deming, and the Organs, which are the mountains near Las Cruces, there's this wide creosote plain. It's absolutely stunningly beautiful desert landscape. High, wide sky, puffy white clouds, and the plain. When I came over the Floridas there before you get to Aquila Flats, I looked out and I could count all these dust devils forming and moving across the landscape, and it was beautiful. It was lovely. I've seen it so many times. I've traveled that stretch so many times, and yet every time seeing it and going across it is such a joy. But traveling, what it does to my body is horrible. I have an iron constitution, especially an iron digestive tract. I can take any spice. I can take almost any food poisoning, but traveling messes up my works. And it's been days, it's taken hours and hours and hours for me to come to some sort of equilibrium, and I'm not there yet. I am not there yet. I am still suffering from the journey. And I wish I was as good-humored as Mother was. She was a wonderful traveling companion. And I wish I had that same deep instinct to move that John and my dad had. But I don't. I just don't. I'm a little homebody, and traveling has become more and more a threat to my rather delicate constitution. It's a sad thing to consider. I mean, I once spent an entire summer out of pocket going all over this hemisphere just for the pleasure of it, just to do it, just to show that I could do it all by myself without anybody with me. I got to see things and do things lots of people haven't gotten to do. And I was young then. I'm not young anymore. So it's much harder on me. So that is really what I wanted to talk about on this episode. And with this episode, it'll only be a month left on my project to give tribute to my brother John, and now add that to my dear mother. So I've got to make some decisions about what I'm going to do on the next episodes, and I certainly will try. I'm thinking that probably I might do an episode a week, possibly, or maybe an episode a month, I don't know. An episode a week seems doable, and I have other things that I want to be doing and that I look forward to doing. But I do enjoy these, and I enjoy the communication I get from the folks that listen, the few folks that listen. And I would like to throw up some things that have nothing to do with teaching or with John or Mother or anything else, just the current state of affairs. But I'll have to consider that and decide how I'm going to do it. In any case, hopefully we'll be back on track come Monday. We'll be back in regular numbers on Monday. And soon we'll do our final tribute episodes. In the meantime, I hope you have a delightful, peaceful, healing day, and I hope you see me again. You gorgeous people.